everybody, my name is TechReal, and today we are talking handy-dandy notebooks. You see, back when Josh Dela Cruz was announced to be the host of Blue's Clues and You, he talked a little bit about the handy-dandy notebook, how it was going to be something different and not how we remembered, and how he was really excited for us all to see it. After hearing this, my mind started to race, and I wondered what could make this new notebook so different from the rest. In that same video where I was talking about Josh's announcement, I actually started theorizing what it could be. I gave 3 different possibilities, which I later turned into drawings, which you will see in a few minutes. A little while later, the Blues Clues News Discord server started, and I thought it'd be a fun little experiment to see what everyone else thought the new notebook could be. So I set a certain amount of time and I asked as many people as I could over on the server to submit their own ideas for notebooks, whether that means submitting their own drawing or just their own idea. At the end of it all, I got 9 unique notebook concepts and I drew them all out and I added the descriptions that were given to me, and now I have all of them here for you, merely several months after I probably should have. Yeah, this whole project started March 24th, and it is now July 2nd. I am the master of procrastinating. But you know, I'm actually kind of glad that it took me this long to get to this video, because now the handy-dandy notebook for the reboot has been revealed through the music video. So, by the end of the video, we can see which of the ideas given is closest to what actually happened. We have 12 designs to get to, so let's get started with my first design, Handy Dandy Friend, or what I now call Notebook Friend. This notebook builds off of the idea of the talking/singing clues, and taking it a step further by bringing the notebook itself to life. This creates a new character for the show, and they would definitely fit in with all the other living objects throughout the house. It'd be a cute new relationship between the host and their notebook, and even with side table drawer as they normally interact with it the most. Perhaps it could even help the singing clues to work more naturally, having the notebook sing about the clues of the day rather than random voices each time. Yeah, I really like this idea. It's funny, because originally this seemed like the most bland, boring idea of the bunch, just sticking a face in the notebook, making it be alive like all the other characters in the house. It just seemed kinda lazy and just not very interesting. A cute idea at most, but now, especially after, the Blues Clues News server happened, we all kind of really overblown this. Like, he's kind of our god now. He's our god. Yeah, that's fair to say. He's our religion. But really though, I think it's just a really cute idea to think about the notebook itself being a character. It opens up a lot of possibilities, different plot lines, and I just kind of really love the idea of the notebook hanging out with side table, when they're not playing Blue's Clues, or the notebook just running around, running to Josh so that he can draw the clue, assuming that Josh wouldn't be holding him for whatever reason. I don't know how he works. He's just a cute idea that I really love, and a lot of others seem to kind of too. So, yeah, that's all there really is to say about Notebook Friend. Next we move on to my second idea, the Handy Dandy Camera. This notebook is the furthest from a notebook, it now being turned into a camera. This is something I could see being done if the creators of the show wished to modernize the notebook idea. Now instead of drawing the clues, the host would snap pictures of them. The device itself can switch in between 2 screens, the picture-taking screen and the photo gallery. This provides the opportunity to make a scrapbook of all the photos of the clues that they've taken over an extended period of time. It could even provide a silly challenge for capturing the clues that move around. So yes, this one's another really simple idea. I tried, if you can tell, to sort of keep the colors of the Handy Dandy notebook, the original, throughout the camera and its certain, functions and features. I'm really butchering the words, but if you can see, the button and the lens on front have the red of the spiral on the thinking chair, and you can see the screens have the yellow of the pages of the notebook. And of course, the green and the black outline are also of the outside of the notebook. So yeah, I try to keep the same sort of color scheme and feel so that it's not too out there. It still sort of feels like something that they would use, if only because the colors are just very bright and eccentric. I will say it does take a little bit of the charm away from, drawing the clues yourself and seeing those cute little drawings. But other than that, I think it's quite a solid idea. If not for, the entire series, it would be kind of nice to see a handy-dandy camera for maybe an episode. Just sort of, like a photography day or something like that. I don't really know. It's like one of the special notebooks, like the nighttime notebook or the treasure hunt notebook. It's an idea. Not the best for the entire series, though, if you ask me, which is weird that I'm bashing my own idea, but anyways, yes, that is the Handy Dandy Camera. Moving on to my third and final design, the Handy Dandy Tablet. This notebook is a modern twist on the original. Now instead of it being a crayon and paper, it's a tablet and stylus. This way you get the modern idea of using touchscreens, as many people use today, while still allowing the charm of drawing the clues. The tabs on the virtual page give the experience of switching pages without having any in the notebook itself. This could even open up the possibility of a Blue's Clues app for kids with the same function, providing a cheap way for kids to be able to draw along with the show without paying the price of a full toy. So yeah, this is my attempt at combining old ways and new ways, and trying to sort of merge this product, app thing at the same time. I will say it almost feels a tiny bit convoluted. I don't know, maybe it's just the idea of having this notebook-sized thing with this crayon-looking thing, drawing on pages-looking things, while it all just sort of being digital for seemingly no reason other than to modernize the show. So it feels a little bit weird in that way. Not the most convoluted thing on the whole list, mind you, but it definitely seems like it's kind of pointless for it to be electronic, just sort of being electronic for the sake of it being electronic. But other than that, I think it's good. For a while, this was sort of the idea that was in my head that this would be the most likely to happen in the actual show. How wrong I was. Or, who knows, we still haven't seen the inside of the notebook, so there could be a tablet, wink wink. Probably not, but anyways, moving on. We now move on to the designs made by the peeps over at the Blue's Clues news server. Some of these come with their own original drawings that will be up in the upper right, and some of these were purely ideas that I sort of had to draw myself and figure out. So if the description doesn't perfectly match the drawing, that's why that is. So yeah, let's start off with Nathan01's idea. The description reads, "My notebook design is like Steve's notebook, but the covers are light blue with yellow construction paper inside, and comes with a blue striped crayon. The notebook is based off of the footage of the sleeve of the shirt that Josh was wearing in a leaked photo, the photo itself being this one. Now this is definitely one of the most simple designs of the group, but even still it's very effective. The blue looks surprisingly well against the red, the blue stripes are always a good thing, and it was colored specifically to match his costume that he'd be wearing in the show, or at the time that he'd supposedly be wearing in the show, which we now know he does wear in the show, so it was a smart move. Overall, very simple but very nice. Next up, we have the design of Jessica McCartney. The blue paw print notebook is a great design as it symbolizes Blue's paw prints. It's a traditional paper and crayon notebook based on nostalgia and remembrance of the past notebooks. The crayon is also blue as it can match with the notebook and possibly the host. Again, a very simple idea, but I really like it. I feel like it sort of continues the idea from what Joe's notebook did, which was, instead of it just being a picture on a square notebook, actually taking the shape of something iconic to the show, this time, of course, being a paw print. And it looks really good, and, of course, putting forth the idea of Blue's Clues for the show, because, paw print, and that's kind of what we look for in the entire show. The only thing I will say is that it would make it a little bit confusing because we're looking for paw prints, and then to see another paw print when you're about to write down the other paw print, it might be like, wait, is that a clue, or is that just the notebook? And then, of course, how would you put a clue on a notebook that has a paw print? So, a little weird there. But, that's very specific examples that it would probably never really be a problem in practice. Overall, another really good notebook, especially for someone who likes blue. It being my favorite color, I'm kind of very much drawn to it. Next up, the notebook of That Guy Walking By. Thinking about what Josh had said about keeping the tradition of paper and crayon, yet trying to take a modern twist to it with the iPads and Apple Pencils of today, I thought of combining the notebook's form factor with a stylus pen and a mobile phone's drawing app with swatches on top for different colored crayons and a memory basin to store the 3 clues for each episode. You can draw the clues, and with a touch of a button, they're saved onto a memory source, and they can talk and interact with the host and audience similar to the US Series 5 and 6. Now, before I say anything else, I just want to say that this notebook was one of the ones that didn't come with a, drawing of its own, so when I ended up making the design, it was very much based off of the tablet that I made, so just wanted to get that little fact out of the way. Other than that, while the idea is similar, I really like the addition of the ability to make the clues talk and sing without the weirdness of the original talking and singing clues. This gives it its own reason to exist as opposed to the original, and allows it to talk to the audience and host, which again, the original did not do. It's a really nice idea, and again, pushes forward that modern technology situation that could have been applied to the show. Next, we move on to Rab's design. A sentient notebook that goes by NotePal, Similar to Notebook Friend, however, any drawing in it also becomes sentient. It's an attempt to improve upon the idea of singing clues with better quality. Again, I really love the idea of taking the talking and singing clues and making them better, and giving them a reason to exist other than them just sort of being there for no reason. This sort of legitimizes the idea. In addition to that, I love Notepal's little face. His big eyes and his little mouth. There's something just inherently adorable about the design, and I love it. Not much else to say, just a really, really cute design. Moving on. Let's next look at Pokegear 101's design. The description reads, "My notebook is not just used for finding clues. It is also a way to be sent letters from Mailbox, who is now digital and helps explain the video messages in the letters. He has different cases for big celebrations, like a birthday party or a pajama party here and there. If the pen used to draw with is broken, Josh would use the camera, which is rarely ever used. He is a clumsy kind of character, usually stumbling into clues before Josh. And lastly, his new spot to stay on is on top of side table drawer with little stand for charging." Again, we move into the modern technology era of the notebook, and I really, really love the design of this notebook. It sort of keeps the same ideas and similar-ish color palette from the original notebook, while taking a completely unique spin into more of a tablet. It's very interesting. It's like the fusion of Notebook Friend and the, different tablet designs, just sort of mashed into this new notebook with even more features. I like how he established the characters, a little clumsy. It sort of builds off of the idea that this is a character. And I love the idea that it sort of mashes with Mailbox in this way that legitimizes the idea of the video letter, which, for the longest time, it just doesn't make sense. Like, you see them writing letters. There was a whole episode where, Blue wrote a letter, or she sent a picture to Magenta, I believe, and then Magenta sends back a video. And I still don't know how that works, because how are you going to tell me that we can send letters, but then videos are also sent? Like, why didn't we do that? I don't know, rant aside, it's a really good idea. A cute design with many features that helps integrate it into the world of Blue's Clues. Nice. Next we have Adam P5104's idea. It's a combination of all three of Tech's ideas, with the screen of the tablet, the camera of the camera, and that it can be alive like Notebook Friend, possibly similar to Siri. The face doesn't need to be on it all the time, similar to how Siri works. They could press a button or use an app that'll make it appear. Plus, the concept of this could also take the place of the rotary phone that isn't seen on side table's top in the sneak peek pictures we've gotten. So again, this didn't come with a drawing, so I sort of had to take some creative liberties when designing this notebook, or I guess in this case, phone/tablet, or phone plus tablet. Let me explain. When he first described this idea to me, I imagined that the thing that would sit on side table's top would be different than the thing that would be carried around with them among, the adventure of finding clues. So here we have the phone up top, which is just sort of a camera phone that apparently has some sort of notebook character inside that I didn't know about before, thus couldn't draw. And in this, the pictures that are taken with the phone link up to the tablet that sits on side table, so that, you take the pictures on the phone, and then when you get to the thinking chair, you pick up the tablet, and that's what you're looking at when you're trying to figure out Blue's Clues. Overall, I really like Adam's idea. It sort of takes the best parts of each of mine, and sort of makes it its own thing. The only thing that I can say that sort of is the same gripe I have with my own camera idea is that it takes away the idea of drawing the clues yourself, which sort of eliminates that charm. But other than that, I really like it. And like with Pokegears, I like the idea of putting something on side table's top to replace the phone that, again, isn't there anymore. You can check all the previews and the preview pictures. Side table lost her phone. I don't know where it is. Did throw it out? I don't know. I don't know. Next, we have the idea of Eva the Awesomest. Basically, my design is a blue smartphone with a pop print on the back that lights up when it's in use. It's slightly bigger than your average iPhone, but smaller than, say, an iPad mini. It comes with a blue stylus that Josh can plug in and use to draw his clues, and he can swipe his screen to turn the page with his finger. Of course, he can use the phone for other things too, such as video chatting and calling his friends, and even skidooing into games and whatnot. I feel like I've said this quite a few times in this video, but it's true, I really like the design of this one. Between the blue polka dots and stripes and the clue on the back, it just looks like what I'd imagine a phone/tablet to look like in the Blue's Clues world. It's very fitting. The features all make sense, and I really like the idea of being able to skidoo inside of games in the tablet itself, which could actually be a recurring thing on the show if they really wanted it to be. The page turning mechanic is really simple, yet also very effective, and when I see this, it looks like something that I could find a host of Blue's Clues using in the show. And that's about all you really need for a design for a notebook, or in this case, tablet. Also, I like how the sort of crayon-looking tablet and the yellow page sort of mimics the original notebook and, the whole traditional paper and crayon situation, so nice job there. Next, we move on to Jumpman256's idea. The description reading, so when I first read the interview with Tracy where she talked about the notebook with the new technology, but also the traditional paper and crayon, the first thing I thought was, okay, maybe the new part has to do with the thinking part of the notebook's function. Maybe Josh draws it in regularly, and even thinks about the clues normally, until we get to the thinking chair. Josh could then plug in the notebook into a slot on the chair, and then push buttons to call up holograms above his head for when it's time to piece everything together. This idea is easily the most convoluted one of the bunch, but I still really, really like it. Again, this one didn't come with a drawing reference, so I had to sort of work it out on my own, and because it's traditional paper and crayon, yet it somehow plugs in order to show the drawings, I sort of fashioned this thing that I had to show from like 2 different angles so that it would actually make sense. Basically, it's this thing that sticks onto the side of the notebook, that sticks to the bottom cover, so that there's this gray strip you can see, and it's convoluted even just talking about it, but this gray strip on the side is a light. It sort of scans the drawing that you draw and sort of inputs it into its memory, which then will later show up on the hologram, so, yeah. Now, I wasn't able to make the slot for the thinking chair because up until getting this fully written description, I didn't know the slot existed. But I got the buttons, which is, simple as it is, push for each clue and then clear at the bottom. And, yeah, as convoluted as this idea is, it really kind of works in a way. Like, it well mixes the traditional and the technology, and sort of gives this new reason as to why the clues float above your head, which is something I never really thought I needed the answer to, but now I actually really like the idea that it's a hologram. Even though, again, it's still very convoluted, but it kind of works in a weird way. It's nothing I can see that, actually happening on the show, but I like the idea of this being in some sort of, fan fiction or alternate universe. It's just a very interesting idea that I like. And now last, but certainly not least, we have Domeless's idea. I have a feeling that it's going to be more or less like the original notebook, covers made out of wood, paper, crayons, etc. But I have a feeling that there will be a draw-along app so that when the episode airs, kids can pull up the app and as the host draws it in the notebook, you can also draw your own version on the app. It would be really cool if after the episode aired, there would be some sort of bumper that could say, "Wow, you did so good at playing Blue's Clues, here are some of the drawings you did." And then it would show the drawings that the kids drew on the app. This would also leave it open for them to make a toy version of the notebook so that not only would they be getting revenue from the apps, but they could also make money selling the toys. 2 birds, 1 stone. Okay, I really like this idea. A lot. It's actually kind of genius the way it sort of keeps the traditional notebook and crayon while at the same time putting this new interactive element through the app. It's just, I love it. Now again, no drawing reference, so I had to sort of work this all out on my own, and I'm actually kind of proud of what I came up with, at least on the left. Not really a fan of my right screen, but we'll get onto it. So, yes, on the left you see this sort of upper screen that shows the clue as it happens. I imagine that there were, if at all possible, there would be this sort of timing aspect that when the clue shows up on screen in the show, it would correspond onto the app where it would show up on the screen there with the clue on it. And there would be this lower drawing area with all the colors you could possibly need for any clue that would come in the future. And you could draw it with your finger or maybe some sort of tablet pen, and then you could save it. The right screen being the saved clues from each episode so that you can look back on the different episodes that you watched and look back at the clues you drew. But yeah, I just love the idea of it all, the interactive element of being able to draw along with Josh in the show, and then also the idea of the bumper at the end of the show, showing just drawings from kids around the world who are just drawing along with the show, getting to see what they drew up on screen. It's just, it's brilliant. I don't mean to play favorites here. I love all the designs, I really do. But this one might just be my favorite idea. So, I'm sorry. I can't help it. I don't mean to choose my favorite child here, but this one is really good at the idea, and I'm almost kind of hoping it happens, because this one isn't exactly disproven yet, so yeah, just point is, this is a really good idea. It sort of has the best of both worlds, keeping the in-show notebook, this normal notebook, while also increasing the technology and the interactivity from an in-home app. So, yeah. So yeah, those are all the notebook designs, and I just want to say that the people over at the Blue's Clues new server, you guys did so great. These were all really, really good ideas, and yeah, I'm really happy that these are out there now, so that people can see your amazing ideas and designs. So now comes the question of who got the closest, because now we have the actual notebook design, which I'll put up on screen now. This is the new notebook. I think we talked about it a bit in the music video review, reaction, the analysis, I guess it would be. Very similar to Steve's old notebook, but longer and bluer, has some stripes, and yeah, very, very simple. While also, of course, being really nice to look at. It's a really good design. Now, most of the notebook designs really don't have too much of a similarity to the new one. There are two of them that get a little bit kind of close in one aspect. That would be Aoife the Awesomest and Jessica McCartney, who had the idea of the blue notebook/device with a blue striped crayon. So that was very close. But if we had to say which one is the closest of them all, we have to look at Nathan 01's, which is basically the notebook, just very slightly different. It's blue, comes with a blue striped crayon, has the red thinking chair, the red spiral, and yeah, the only thing is it's not long as it's not striped, at least for the notebook itself. But other than those two things, it's basically spot on. So congratulations, Nathan, you definitely got the closest of all of us, which, again, at the time, I really didn't think it would happen, because it was such a simple design. I thought it would be more, but it wasn't. At least for all we know. Again, we haven't seen the inside of the notebook yet, so there could be more than pages. But for the most part, for all we know right now, from the little information we have, Nathan, you are the closest, so congrats. Now we have one last thing to talk about regarding the subject of notebooks. You see, midway into this project, and at a time where I was still sort of procrastinating recording this video, I thought of another idea that would be fun to add, a poll of sorts. A poll that asks two questions. One, which notebook concept is your favorite? And two, which one seems like the most plausible/likely to be used in the reboot? Overall, the poll got 21 responses, and here are the results. The notebook concept that people favored the most out of all of them was, in fact, Notebook Friend. So, yeah, I'm actually quite surprised by that, but at the same time, given the fact that we on the server have kind of taken an intense liking to Notebook Friend, I'm not too surprised. It's again, he's kind of our god now, so I'd actually be kind of surprised if he wasn't chosen. Following in second, third, fourth, and fifth are the Handy Dandy Tablet, Domeless's idea, Jessica McCartney's, and That Guy Walking By's notebook. Then later followed by Jumpman's and Rab's. And as for which notebook seemed the most plausible or likely, again, the highest voted one was Notebook Friend, which that one I'm a little bit surprised about. I did not think that one was gonna win. It was followed closely by the Handy Dandy Tablet, and then after that came Nathan's, Domeless's, That Guy's, Pokegear's, and then Jumpman's. So I think the main thing that we've determined here is that people just really, really like Notebook Friend, and I can't blame them. I love him too. There's just something about him. I don't know, and we will never know. He is our god. Let us pray. But yeah, that's about it. That is all the notebook designs, that is the results, and that is all there really is to say. Overall, while most of our ideas weren't that close, especially mine, which were very far off, I really love everyone's idea, and it was a really fun exercise to do, even if most of them didn't get anywhere close. We may not have guessed the actual notebook that will be used, except for Nathan, who got it almost spot on. but we came up with a bunch of interesting and fun to look at and use notebooks with very interesting concepts and ideas. So I think we still win at the end of the day because we have a lot of fun ideas to play around with. Which idea did you like the most? Let me know in the comments below, because I'm sure whoever created that idea will greatly appreciate it. And let us know if there are any ideas that you actually prefer to the new notebook that's actually being used, because again, we will greatly appreciate it. That'd be kind of fun to know that you'd actually like that one better. Kind of, sort of takes the spark out of the new notebook, but, it's all in good fun. Anyways, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video.